We'll start with the prayers. Om Bhadram Karne Vishunayama Deva Bhadram Pashye Bhakshaviryajatraha Stirairangaihi Stuštuvagum Sastanobihi Vyashema Devahitam Vyadayuho Swasti na Indro Vrittashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastakshorarishthanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati'r Dadato Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Mandukya Upanishad BASHYAM. Last week, I gave you an introduction to Upanishads. I talked about 10-12 Upanishads. Then we did the Shanti Mantra 1. Shankaracharya writes a special Shanti Mantra for this Upanishad. There are 2 Shanti Mantras. We have finished 1 Shanti Mantra. Today we are going to see the 2nd Shanti Mantra. And then an introduction to Mandukya Upanishad by Shankaracharya. He gives a very elaborate introduction running into several pages. So that's what we will be covering today, introduction to Mandukya Upanishad. He will tell us what is there in each chapter. He will tell us the Anubandha Chatushtayam. What are the factors we should consider when we study the Upanishads? 2 things which I want to say before we start. Whenever we listen to the Upanishads, our teachers, they tell us, listen to the Upanishads outside the body and mind. Don't be inside your body and try to listen and then try to evaluate the Upanishads with reference to what you are experiencing through the body and mind. Because the topic of Upanishad is beyond what lies beyond the body, mind, and the universe. So the first practical lesson we should understand is never try to analyze your experiences which you go through with your sense organs and try to compare with what Upanishad is teaching. That is why I say always come with a very clear slate, come with a very clear mind. The second practical lesson which is given by Sureshwaracharya in Naishkarmya Siddhi. That's a very brilliant text, an advanced text. And he gives a very practical tip in that text, which some of the commentators of Mandukya also give us. What he says is, this is a very useful tip. Try to understand this first. We are all caught up, mainly because we are caught up with our mind. So in this body, there are 2 things. Normally, for an ajnani, there is only one thing, which is ahamkara, ego, I. But when you come to Upanishad, you learn that in this body, there is another factor which is called as sakshi, a witness. That is what we did in last week's meditation. And today also in meditation, we'll be discussing about this sakshi. So when you come to Upanishad, you should understand there are 2 things in this body. One is the big I, which is the sakshi I. Then there is a small I, which is the mind I. Mind I is the ahamkara, the ego I. Throughout the day, the mind keeps on talking. All of us, when we start coming to Upanishads and start meditation, the first thing which we realize is there is someone talking inside. Inside this body, there is someone who is talking all the time, constantly talking throughout the day. If we are aware and if our chitta shuddhi is perfect, we will listen to this conversation throughout the day. That is the advantage of studying the Upanishads. How do I deal with this mind? This is a very big topic in all the Upanishads, all Bhagavad Gita, as well as Brahma Sutra. Mind is something which is totally uncontrollable. We don't have much control over it because it is coming from previous birth. It is a continuous element in all the bodies which we will take in the future also. So the mind is something which is always attached to the body. And this mind goes to sleep, the mind wakes up. When the mind goes to sleep, we call it sushupti. When the mind is awake, we call it jagrat, waking and sleep. During the sleep state, we experience ourselves, but we don't say that I am, because I am will come only when the mind is there. We are existing. We are there all the time. That which is there all the time is called as sakshi, without a change. It is a changeless nature of mind. It is always there. So this aspect we should understand. The second tip is we should understand that there is something changeless in me. That changeless aspect of mind is the real self. If that is the real self, how do I deal with my mind? That is what Naishkarmya Siddhi, Sureshwaracharya, one of the direct disciples of Shankaracharya, he says, like you treat a neighbor, and whatever is happening in a neighbor's house, you're not affected by it. You say that is happening in my neighbor's house, I am not affected. Similarly, what Sureshwaracharya says is, neighborize your mind. Try to say that whatever the mind is talking, telling you, everything is of a lower order of reality. That is the nature of the mind. But start keeping a distance from the mind, because you are sakshi, you are the witness. So try to increase that distance, and whenever you are dealing with any big problem, any crisis comes, you always try to bring back this lesson. I am the sakshi. Mind is an appearance. It will come. It will give you some experiences, and then it will change. No experience will remain constant. Experiences keep on changing. If this is the best way to tackle our mind, neighborization of the mind. Take the mind as a neighbor and say that it is my neighbor, but it's not me. But who am I? I am the sakshi. I am the witness of the mind. I am the consciousness principle of the mind. Okay, so these are some practical tips which I wanted to give it to you, because as we study further and further, we are going to come to some very subtle topics where you have to stand as a sakshi and then listen. You cannot stand as ahamkara and then listen. Okay, so this is just, I will repeat this again as we go by. So these are some of the practical lessons which will help you not only in your day-to-day events and circumstances which you face, but it is also a very big lesson in spirituality. With that, I will now go to where we stopped last week, which is this Mangala Shloka, which is number 2. The second Mangala Shloka, we will listen now, and then we will see how we can understand this.
Yo Vishvatma Vidhija Vishayan. Yo Vishvatma Vidhija Vishayan. Pashya Bhogan Sthavishtan. Pashya Bhogan Sthavishtan. Paschachanyan Swamati Vibhavan. Paschachanyan Swamati Vibhavan. Jyotishasvena Sukshman. Jyotishasvena Sukshman. Sarvanetam punarapishanaihi. Sarvanetan punarapishanaihi. Swatmanisthapayittva. Swatmanisthapayittva. Hitva sarvan viseshan. Hitva sarvan viseshan. Vigata gunagana patvasau nasturiyaha. Vigata gunagana patvasau nasturiyaha.
What does this mantra reveal? What Shankaracharya says is that there is something which is beyond the mind, which we are going to call it as turiyam in this Mandukya Upanishad. Something is there. What it is, we will see in the 7th mantra of the Upanishad. So as of now, just take the name that there is something which is my nature. That is called as turiya. In Mandukya, it is treated like a 4th state, but Shankaracharya says it is not the 4th state, but it is the only state which exists. Now, turiya is pure existence, pure consciousness, and pure bliss. It is of the nature of limitlessness. We all experience this in our sleep state. Along with the sleep state, this state is also there. But we are not aware of this state. The Upanishads are trying to reveal to us that state which exists all the time. Not only in the sleep state, it also exists in the waking state. Therefore, Shankaracharya is saying in this Shanti Mantra that Turiya Atma becomes this waker. Try to understand, this is a very, very deep this verse has got a very deep meaning. That turiya Atma itself becomes the waker. The waker in Mandukya Upanishad is called as Vishwa Atma. I'll be giving you more explanations of this as we go by. But at the moment, you just try to understand that turiya Atma, which is beyond the time. See, there's no time in turiya. Like you don't experience time in your sleep state. You don't experience. Only when you wake up, you look at your clock, you say, I slept for 8 hours. But during the sleep, there was no experience of time. That state in which there is no experience of time is the turiya state. Because it's very important to stand on turiyam and understand all this. So in this mantra, what he says is, it is the same turiyam which is appearing as the waker. The waker has got physical body and he has got bhoga. Bhoga means he enjoys sense objects which give sense pleasures. Why do we experience the pleasures or the pain? It could be for some time it will be pain, sometimes it will be pleasure. It is a cycle. It is a cycle for all of us. Sometimes the cycle may vary in a particular day, it might vary in a particular hour, or it can vary for a few years. For a few years, you're having a very good time. But suddenly something happens and you start experiencing sorrow. That is because this physical body is born out of punya papa karma. This is a general accepted principle in Hinduism, that our journey in this world is not only in this birth, but it is a continuous journey. The mind takes birth in different bodies, enjoys different joys and sorrows. When the karma of the waking state gets exhausted and the dream state ripens, then what happens? We experience the dream pleasure. Created by what? By the mind only. In the waking state also, what is experienced by us? The mind. Who is the witness? Turiya Atma. Then what happens? We go to the sleep state. In the sleep state, what happens? All these experiences of the waking and the dream, they get resolved. And that condition of the resolved world is called as unmanifest, avyakta avastha. So in this avastha, what happens? That jiva which enjoyed or suffered during the waking and dream, it has a rest. It is free from the attributes of the physical body and the mind. In all this, what happens? That turiya Atma is still there. It continues. That is the substratum. So in this mantra, what he says is that turiya Atma, which continuously, invariably is present, changelessly which is present, can that Atma protect us from ajnanam? Ajnanam means I don't know this nature of mine, which is called as turiya. Normally, Shanti Mantras are for the prayer of completing the study or having the right organs, fit organs for the study, or having the grace of the Lord. These are all the normal Shanti Mantras, which you will find in all other Upanishads. But in Mandukya Upanishad, Shankaracharya has brought up these two verses. These two verses give the essence of the whole Upanishad. Whatever we are going to study in the entire Upanishad is present in these two verses. And the grace of this turiya Atma to protect till I get the jnana, till I get the nishtha, till I am able to say I am that pure consciousness. The first sloka is talking about turiyam. The second sloka is also talking about turiyam. Turiyam in the first sloka is, in grammatical sense, it's napumsaka linga, and in the second sloka is pullinga. Neuter gender in the first, and it is the masculine gender in the second sloka. Tvampada lakshyartha is the second sloka. That means I, with the help of upadhi called body and mind, is called as the vachyartha. Vachyartha means what? Direct meaning of I. But what is the lakshyartha of I? What is the indicative meaning of I? It is this consciousness. So in the second mantra, it talks about the Tvam Pada Lakshya, the individual, indicative meaning of the individual. In the first mantra, it is the Tat Pada Lakshyartha. Tat Pada means what? That Brahman, that God, has got Vachyartha and Lakshyartha. Vachyartha means what? Normal meaning. The universe is Bhagavan. But what is the Lakshyartha, indicative meaning? Your mind should be traveling and dropping this Vachyartha. Vachyartha means you should drop this direct meaning of the individual and the total and hold on to the Lakshyartha. Lakshyartha is this substratum called as turiya. It is formless sat-chit-ananda nirguna Brahman. All these words are technical words. Sat means it is always existing. Trikale api tishtati. It existed in the past, it is existing now, it will exist in the future. There is nothing else in the world which is existing all the time. So at no point of time can you say, I did not exist. What you can say is, my body did not exist. But I existed. In what form? In the same form as you are in your sleep state. That state is called as nirguna avastha. There is no guna, and that nirguna avastha is turiyam. That is the fourth state. As of now, you understand as the fourth state because we are just beginning to enter the Upanishads. The first state is waking, second state is dream, third state is sleep, and the fourth state is the pure state without these three states. At the moment, try to understand this in this way. When we experience these three states, the names are given as Vishwa, Taijasa, Prajna. Try to remember these Sanskrit names because throughout Mandukya, we are going to use these three words. When I say Vishwa, you should know it is the waker. And the waker is always with what? He is always with the Sthula Sharira. In the Sthula Shariram, there is also the subtle body and the causal body. Then second one is taijasa. Taijasa means what? It is the subtle, the dreamer. Dreamer has got mainly the subtle body. The dreamer is identified with his mind alone. He is not identified with the physical body which is lying in the bed. No identification. He only identifies with the mind. See how scientific this entire Upanishad is. That is why I call the study of Mandukya Upanishad as a study in science. It's so beautiful. Prajna is the Karana Avastha. Karana Shariram means what? In which there is ignorance. I don't know myself. I don't know the world. This is the negative side of prajna. What is the positive side of prajna? In the prajna avastha, there is a glow of that Atma. There is a glow. All of us, we experience it. That glow is called as the reflected consciousness. Now, all these three are reflections of that pure turiyam. Turiyam is called as the original consciousness or chit. The physical body experiences, the subtle body experiences, the causal body experiences are reflections. In Tattva Bodha, we have seen they are called as chid abhasa. Now, what does these abhasas do? They give us experiences. So, in this mantra, Shanti mantra, very important point is turiyam is not the fourth state, but it is a continuous experiencer of all the three states. Turiyam itself is appearing. For example, today, right now, can we say I am a waker? With reference to the physical body, I am a waker. But with reference to the consciousness, I am the turiyam. No waker is possible without consciousness. No dream is possible without the light illumining the dream. No sleep is possible without the light which illumines the ignorance of the jiva. That light is the invariable factor. Therefore, Shankaracharya says, it is this turiyam alone which appears as waker, dreamer, sleep. Can turiyam exist by itself? Yes. That is what we all experience in our sleep state. We experience without the physical body, we experience without the mind, we experience without the universe. So what is having the experiences of the gross and the subtle world or the causal world? It is this turiyam alone. Experiencer is changeless. Experienced world is changing. Try to understand this fact. Very important in Vedanta. What is changeless? Experiencer consciousness. What is changing? The world is changing. Yesterday the world was different, but you might say I'm seeing the same Singapore or the same India or the same America. You don't realize that you don't experience the same America or the same India. In that time, there's a lot of changes which have happened in the country. So many things have changed. Like in the river Ganga, this is given, it's a Vedic example. You don't take a bath in the same water of the Ganga every day. The Ganga river is flowing. Similarly, the world is flowing. It's just constantly changing. But it gives us an appearance as if things are the same. That is because of māyā-shakti. It is the māyā-shakti which gives us a seeming changeless world. Punya Papa Karma Vishayas will determine the quality of experiences in our waking and dream. Many of us, we ask this question, why am I experiencing this pain? Especially when it comes to pain, we all have these questions. When we are having a good time, we never ask any questions because we take it for granted that we all deserve that. But when pain comes, and the reason which the Veda tells us is, it is because of past actions which are giving us the results now. That is why we say that this body and mind is prarabdha karma phalam. Till the last breath, our actions in the body will give us the sukham or dukkha. Bhagavad Gita says, Nanyat punebhya kartaram yada dristhana pashyati gunebhyascha param veti mat bhavam sodhi gacchati. Comes in the 14th chapter. The 14th chapter is the Guna-tita chapter. 3 gunas are mentioned in the 14th chapter. 3 chapters are extremely important from Vedantic point of view. 13, 14, and 15. The entire Vedanta is in a capsule form in these 3 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. What does it say here? It says that when the jiva, the seer, the pure consciousness, holds no other agent except the gunas. Gunas means what? Prakriti or the Panchabhutas. You see, it is the guna of the body to act in a certain way in front of the objects. But there is a seer, an experiencer consciousness, which is a sentient being. That sentient being is my Swarupa. What Lord Krishna says is, the one who knows the sentient being, he attains my being. That means there is oneness between the Jivatma and Paramatma. What exists behind the body and mind is the Jivatma. What exists behind the universe is Paramatma. But Paramatma's Swarupam is consciousness. My Swarupam is consciousness. Paramatma Swarupam is existence. In the world, we see everything is existent. The tree is existent, the rivers are existent, the sun is existent. So existence is the substratum of the universe. Consciousness is the substratum of all jivas. Existence and consciousness are not 2 things, but it is one entity, which is existence, consciousness, limitlessness, which is called as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. See how deep the Shanti mantra itself is. You can get realization in every aspect. In every class, you will be able to see the Swarupam of Atma. That is the beauty of studying the BASHYAM. It is my Swarupa. The Nirvikalpa Samadhi is not that state where only you will experience Turiyam. What Shankaracharya says is, I am the Adhisthana Turiyam, invariable presence in all the 3 states. That means it is changeless. And there is only one changeless aspect in creation, which is consciousness. You can test it for yourself. Ask this question. Yesterday, was I conscious? Yes. Right now, am I conscious? Yes. Tomorrow, I'll be conscious. But what is changing? Is my body changing? Yes. Because the cells in the body, every 8 years, they change and I get a new body, according to scientists. My thoughts, are they changing? I get 75,000 thoughts every day. Some people have counted it. It's changing. Universe, made up of 5 elements, continuously changing. Prithvi Tattvam, continuously changing. So, externally, the body, mind, and universe will be there, but the changes, adhishtanam, is always change, is always existing, but it cannot be seen by the eyes. I can see the world, but the adhishtanam, the Atma, is my real nature. And I can only say I am that Atma. I cannot say I experience the Atma. Okay. Now we come to the general introduction from Shankaracharya. Now, in the general introduction, he talks mainly about the first verse and about Om. Because the Upanishad starts, the verse number 1 starts with the description of Om, and it says, Om is everything in the universe. I'm going to explain that in very big detail. Just right now, I'm just giving you the essence of the first verse. Om is everything in the universe, number 1. Om is in time and beyond time. And why do we say this? I'll explain to you. When you utter the word Om, the sound of Om represents in time. After Om is uttered, there is a silence. That silence is the unmanifest condition. It is beyond time. So, in the very first verse of Upanishad, Upanishad says, Om is everything. There are many Upanishads we talk about Om. I will give you a list in a short while. So this Om, this has got, is a very powerful, it's a very powerful symbol in Vedic literature. You can meditate on Om and reach the highest, which is called as Brahman, which is called as turiya. We will see how to meditate on that Om later on. There are 6 mantras which discuss Om in Mandukya Upanishad. There are 6 mantras which discuss avastha trayam in Mandukya. Mandukya consists of 12 mantras, but 6 mantras are devoted to Om and 6 mantras are devoted to the analysis of our experiences. So here in this particular commentary, Shankaracharya says, Om iti etat aksharam idam sarvam. Om is everything in this world. What I am going to explain to you in the 4 chapters of this Mandukya Upanishad is nothing but Om. It is the Sara, it is the essence of Vedanta. And I am going to start the teaching here. That is the meaning of this paragraph. Mandukya Prakaranam is a common name for Upanishad and the Karikas. Prakaranam, we say Mandukya Prakaranam, Mandukya Upanishad is basically consists of 2 things. Upanishad consists of 12 mantras. Then there are Karikas. Karikas means it is a commentary on the Upanishadic mantras. In the first chapter, you get 29 such verses which explain the 12 verses. Then in the second chapter, you get 38 verses, which explain one word, prapancha upashamam. In the third chapter, you get 48 verses, which explain one word, advaitam. And the last chapter, the fourth chapter, there are 100 verses which talk about all the other philosophers and how Shankaracharya negates all of them. Gaudapada negates all the other philosophers and says Advaitam is the truth. All Prakarana Granthas are based on Shastra. Shastra means, generally speaking, it means Brahma Sutra. That is what Shankaracharya is saying in this particular Upanishad. Generally, Shastra means Bhagavad Gita, it means Brahma Sutra, it means Upanishad. But here, the definition is slightly different given by Shankaracharya. A Prakaranam does not focus on the entire study of Vedanta. Prakaranam focuses on one aspect of the Shastra. That is the difference between Shastram and Prakaranam. Mandukya Prakaranam concentrates on Advaitic teaching alone. You won't find Karma Yoga in this. Bhagavad Gita, the first section, the first 6 chapter is talking about Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga. Karma Yoga primarily, the next 6 chapters is Upasana Yoga. But here we don't find that, we only find Advaitic teaching. So it has got Ekadesha Sambandha. Shastra tells us, it clarifies doubts which are there in our mind. Shastra as a whole gives us prayojanam. The prakaranam which we do, it assists the Shastra. It is an angam, it is not angi. These are all the words which are used in Sanskrit. What it means is that there is a prayojanam for this study of Upanishads. Before we start the study, Shankaracharya gives us Anubandha Chatushtayam indirectly. How we get jnanam, how do we get knowledge out of this study? All of you may be familiar with, now here from this paragraph onwards, the Anubandha Chatushtayam is being described by Shankaracharya for the study of Mandukya Upanishad. Anubandha Chatushtayam consists of 4 factors. I will tell you those factors. I will just give you briefly now. I will be explaining to you all those factors. Today's talk is primarily focused on this Anubandha Chatushtayam. And what are the 4 factors? The 4 factors is, number 1 is Vishaya. Second factor, Vishaya means subject matter. The second factor which Shankara takes up here is Prayojanam. What is the benefit of study? These are the 2 factors he focuses. Out of the 4 factors of Anubandha Chatushtayam, he focuses on these 2 factors. What are the other 2 factors of the study of Upanishads? Adhikari is the 3rd factor. Then Sambandha is the 4th factor. What is the, who is the Adhikari? Who is fit to study the Upanishads? And what is the relationship between the study and the Prayojanam? What is the relationship? Sambandha. So once again, I repeat, Four things are there in Anubandha Chatushtayam. Number one is Vishaya. Vishaya means the subject matter. Second is Phalam. What is the benefit? Prayojan. Third is Adhikari. Who is fit to study this? And the last one is, what is the connection between my study and what will I do? Between the Phalam, what is the connection? So here in this particular paragraph, he talks about the benefit. What is the prayojanam? Now he says, he compares the prayojanam with a disease, roga. Now you can get freedom from the disease. After you take a treatment, you get a freedom from the disease. And after you get the freedom from the disease, what happens? You get back to your normal health. So when we study this Upanishad, what is the roga which is eradicated in our study? The roga is called as dukkham, sorrow. We are the jiva in this body. He doesn't know he is the sakshi. He gets associated with the body and the mind, and he suffers. That is what is called as bandha. Arjuna was suffering this in the first chapter. He kept on saying, mama, mama, aham mama, aham mama. Ahamkara and mamakara was the dukkham experienced by Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. All of us are like Arjuna. We are all attached to aham, kara, and mamakara. Ahamkara means I am this body, I was born on so-and-so date, I am suffering or I am enjoying today, and I will not be there after some time. That I is the ahamkara. It is always referring to the body or the mind. I am suffering, I am thirsty, I am hungry, I don't understand, I understand. All these are all intellectual identifications. Prana, when you are attached to the prana, you say, I am hunger and thirst. When I'm attached to the prana element, because prana is responsible for hunger, prana is responsible for thirst. So the roga which I suffer, see how beautifully Shankaracharya explains all this. You see, that is the beauty of Shankaracharya's commentary. He says this type of analysis you will never get anywhere else. For Mandukya Upanishad, this is the beauty. When we are studying the BASHYAM, this is the depth in which we study. So the prayojanam is, I get rid of the dukkham. And dukkham means dvaitam. I, the experiencer, am experiencing the body, mind, and the world. That is called as dvaitam. Dukkha prapancha upashamaha. That means what? This dukkham gets resolved into something which is called as Atma. When this dukkham gets resolved, what happens? It's exactly like the disease which is eradicated for an individual. The disease pertains to the body. But then what happens? When the disease is removed, what happens? Person gets his normal health. Similarly, when the identification is dropped from the body or mind, what happens? I go back to my original nature. Original nature is Atma, which we all will experience when we study this Mandukya Upanishad. I thought I was the body, but after the study of Upanishads, I'm very clear, body-mind is not the reality. Atma is the reality. That is the benefit, that is the prayojanam which Shankaracharya is saying in this particular introductory commentary. Shastra Jnanam does not give moksha, but it removes the disease called Dvaitam or Samsara. What is the meaning of Dvaitam and what is the meaning of Advaitam? Dvaita means, try to understand, these are all very important concepts. In the initial stages itself, if you try to understand this, when we go into the actual verses and all that, you'll find it very easy. So Dvaita means, so when I open my eyes in the morning, I'm experiencing the world. There is an experiencer called body, and there is an experienced world. The world consists of body plus the entire objects and beings. That is what we call it as Triputi. Experiencer, experienced, and the experiencing instrument, which is the mind. That is what is called as Dvaita experience. I am the subject and I experience the object, Dvaitam. Subject, object, Dvaitam. What do you mean by Advaitam? Advaitam is my Swarupa. Swarupa means what? In which there is nothing else except me. Do all of us have this experience or not? Yes. In sleep state, we all experience Advaitam. Dvaitam is coming out from Advaitam and going back to Advaitam is Shankaracharya's teaching. That is the teaching of Upanishads. It will take some time, but as we go through the study, your intellect will accept this statement. Dvaitam rises from Advaitam and resolves into Advaitam. Therefore, it rests in Advaitam alone. Atma being Advaitam is the ultimate teaching. And that is my real nature. So, by the teaching, what happens? The Dvaitam goes away. When the Dvaitam goes away, I go back to my Swarupam, which is called as Advaitam. That is what is said here. We discover our nature as Advaitam. These are all the explanations of what I have told you just now. You can go, you can read them. I'm not going through word by word. I'm just trying to explain to you the gist of it so that we cover the Upanishad as per the Shankaracharya's commentary. As long as the Dvaita Prapancha is there as real, Atma will not be Paramatma. Atma will not be the higher self. It will be always Dukkha. Dukkha Jiva. Here, the word real is very important. Dvaitam appears, world appears, but it is a seeming appearance is what is the teaching. It is a seeming. Seeming means what? It is an appearance like the dream. It comes, it goes. It comes, it goes. That is the way the Upanishad teaches me that I am the higher self. As long as I'm attached to the body, I will have samsara. I will see myself as a small individual in the huge universe. This seeing my smallness is samsara. But when I know that I am the sakshi or the turiya Atma, I dismiss this Dvaitam experience and hold on to that pure Advaita experience. Dvaitam makes me small, Advaitam makes me all. There is a difference between small and all. It makes me all. Advaita means it is everything is there in that. Everything comes out from there. Going from smallness to allness is moksha. Smallness will not go away unless Dvaitam is eliminated and Advaitam bhavana comes into us. See, this whole teaching is about Advaitam. In the third chapter, one word Advaitam is taken up and 48 verses are described. Very beautiful chapter. After that chapter, you'll have zero doubt about anything in Vedanta. All your doubts will be gone. I, turiya Atma, alone am there is the central teaching of the Veda. Chandogya Upanishad, the 7th chapter, is called as Bhuma Vidya. This is where Narada gets the teaching of Brahman in Chandogya Upanishad by his guru Sanat Kumara. Bhuma means turiya. In this particular verse, 7th chapter, 25th verse, the 25th section, the first verse, it says, that Bhuma is below, that Bhuma is above, it is in the front, it is in the right, it is left, it is everywhere. That Bhuma means what? I, the consciousness, I am everywhere, I am all-pervading consciousness is the teaching in Chandogya Upanishad. Shankaracharya quotes this in his BASHYAM here. That knowledge alone gives me the Purnatvam. Advaitam is Purnaha. Dvaitam is Apurnaha. Purnaha means what? Fullness. I don't lack anything. Whereas in Dvaitam, what happens? I am the body means what? I lack money, I lack shelter, I lack food, I lack so many things. But if I shift my attention to Advaitam, what happens? I am full. When we chant Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate at the end of the talk, it refers to the turiya Atma. It refers to my higher nature. That higher nature is Purnaha. That knowledge alone gives me moksha. So the study of this Upanishad removes the dukkham from my life and it gives me Purnatvam in life. But will I really get it? Study and then you will see the benefit yourself. Unless you go through this Upanishad, you will not see the benefit. Shankaracharya is promising this benefit for all of us. Then Shankaracharya goes a little bit deeper into the study of ignorance. Ignorance is a very big topic in advanced texts of Vedanta. This ignorance is nothing but our sleep state. In this portion of the commentary, he uses Vedantic Upanishad to tell us what is ignorance and how it causes duality. Normally speaking, in Mandukya Upanishad, it says very clearly that entire Dvaita experience of Jagrat and Swapna is caused by the Karana Avastha, which is the sleep state. We will see that later on, but I'm just telling you, this is the thinking of the Upanishad. The entire Dvaita Prapancha is set up by ignorance. That is what he's saying in this commentary. And that Dvaitam can be sublated by knowledge. See, suppose this Dvaitam was Satyam. Let us assume. Suppose we say the world is Satyam. It is always existing. Then what will happen? Suppose Dvaitam is Satyam and I am Mithya. I means I don't exist as consciousness. What will happen? There is no concept called moksha. Upanishad will never have a concept. It is called as anirmoksha prasangaha. But can Dvaitam be completely destroyed? No. I cannot destroy the Dvaitam because that is the nature of the universe. But what can I do? I can sublate it. That is the word which is used in the Upanishad, sublation. Sublation in Sanskrit means upasamaha. Through the knowledge of Satya Atma, I can negate cognitively or intellectually. In my own intellect, I can say, yes. How is it possible? For example, the dream was there yesterday. In my mind, I can say when I have woken up, there is no more dream. Similarly, the same thing happens when we rise to our higher nature, turiya nature. What happens to us? We say, yes, there was a waking state. It is exactly like the dream state, and it also went away. Yesterday's waking state, where is it today? Gone. The waking state and the dream state are two experiences which are floating in consciousness. That is what he's trying to explain in this mantra. He's saying, where there is ignorance, there will be duality. There will be a subject-object difference. Bheda will be there. Dvaitam iva bhavati. In Vedantic Upanishad, the second chapter, fourth section, the 14th mantra, wherever there is Dvaitam, there is Bhayam. Wherever there is Dvaitam, there is Samsara. Because there will always be an individual and there will always be a world. So whoever is seeing this Dvaitam, he is in samsara. Whoever is attached to Advaita Atma, he has no samsara. See how Shankaracharya, now this is the style of Shankaracharya. In his mind, he has got the 12 Upanishads, all the mantras in his mind like a computer. He will use different Upanishad, different mantras in his commentary to explain to us Advaitam and to explain to us Dvaitam is false, Advaitam is Satya. Throughout the commentary, that is the benefit of studying the commentary. Then we also get the glimpses of the truth in several Upanishads. Okay, so that is the essence of this mantra. I have explained to you here. Knowledge has the capacity to reveal an object which exists. It also has the capacity to remove the ignorance of the object. Knowledge can reveal. For example, I can see a pen, I can see a mobile. Eyes can reveal an object. And eyes, what do? They remove the ignorance of the pen. That in technical aspect, it is called as vritti vyapti and phala vyapti. As we go by, I will explain this, but just to let you know how Shankaracharya uses these principles. So, Veda is a revealing knowledge. It reveals to us something which is unique, which I didn't know. For example, I don't know about Atma, but I learn about Atma. So it reveals to me something which I didn't know. And this revelation helps me to remove the ignorance about my nature. Here he says that karma is not required for removing ignorance. Jnana karma samuchaya is negated. What he's saying is only jnanam is required. You don't need to keep on doing karma to get the knowledge of Atma. What you need is a source of knowledge like a Veda or Upanishad, which will Tell me what lies beyond this body and mind. So rope snake is sublated by mere knowledge. Of what? Of rope. After knowledge that this rope snake, which I am thinking, it is not rope snake, but it is rope. After knowledge, do I go on beating with the rope snake with a stick? No. So similarly, after knowledge of Atma, I don't have to perform any karma. Okay, so that is what he is saying here in this particular portion of the commentary. Now he comes to the introduction of the 4 chapters, and the first chapter, what it contains among. Among the 4 chapters, the first chapter deals with Omkara analysis. It is the main topic of the Veda, and it is a means of knowledge for what? It is the means of knowledge of Atma or Brahman. So the first chapter consists of 2 aspects, Atma Vichara and Omkara Vichara. There are 6 verses on Omkara Vichara, 6 verses on Atma Vichara. Atma Vichara is Avastatraya Vichara. And the gaining, by having this knowledge, what of this substratum or of this 4th state, what do I get? What is the benefit I get? I get the benefit of sublating the Dvaita Prapancha. There is no more error in my mind that what I am seeing outside is the reality, but what the reality is Brahman or Atma or Turiyam. I no longer attach to the rope snake because I know the rope. For establishing, that means to establish that this universe which is experienced is not Satyam, but it is Mithya. What do I need? I need 2 things. One is knowledge about the Atma, and the second is reasoning to say why I consider this universe, which is full of experiences, is a seeming universe. Shankaracharya introduces the Mandukya BASHYAM. These are the 4 factors which I told you before: Adhikari, Sambandha, Vishaya, Prayojanam. All this I have already discussed. The subject matter I've already discussed that before. Agama Prakaranam is the first chapter which we are now talking about, which has got the 12 mantras and the 29 verses which talk about the explanations of these 12 mantras. In the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th chapter, there is no Upanishadic teaching. But through the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th chapter, what is established? Omkara analysis gives the Atma Swarupam is revealed in the 12 verses. But what is established is, how do I hold on to that teaching which is given in the 1st chapter? How do I hold on? But holding on is called as Nishtha. Advaita Swarupam is my real nature. How do I hold on? It is explained through reason. In the 2nd chapter, if Atma is Advaitam, what is the status of Anatma then? Shankaracharya beautifully analyzes this, and he says that Anatma is Mithya. Advaitam is Satyam, Dvaitam is Mithya. Mithya means what? It appears, but it is not real. That is the definition. Don't forget the definitions. These are all very important things in Mandukya Upanishad. Anytime you don't know, you ask. Because then only you will understand the technical nature of the analysis. It's a very, very technical study, though. It's like engineering, engineering. When you know all the formulas, in physics, all the formulas, or in chemistry, all the formulas, then you understand how the entire picture develops. Observer and observed both must be mithya. That is what is shunyavadi. See, always Shankaracharya tries to bring a little bit of debate. We are going to see a lot of debates while we discuss these chapters, especially in the second chapter, third chapter. You'll find a lot of debates. And these debates are very useful because they help me how to think properly. The third chapter is full of logical reasoning because it establishes that Advaitam is Satya. When we say Advaitam is Satyam, what happens to this? What happens to the world which is Anityam, which is Mithya? What we should understand is this world does not exist at all without that Satya. Without rope, there is no rope snake. Without Brahman or Turiyam, there is no world. That is the power of this teaching. Without that existence, consciousness, blissful entity called Brahman or Turiyam, there is no world. Shankaracharya will prove this in the coming second, third chapter. That is what is the essence in the third chapter. What are the examples of mithya appearances? The best example is dream. Dream is mithya. Similarly, the waker is also mithya. It is proved in the third chapter. Waking world is also mithya like the dream world. Shell silver is mithya. What is the adhishtanam of shell silver? Shell. Mirage water is mithya. It is experienced. But what is the substratum? Sand. For the waker, what is the substratum? It is turiya, Atma, or Brahman. Everything in the world is not mithya. That is shunyavadi. He says everything is nothing. There is nothing in the world. Everything comes from nothing and it goes back to nothing. So that is shunyavada. That is a philosopher who believes that there is non-existence in the world. But what we are saying, Shankaracharya says, is Satya Adhishtanam is necessary for any experience of the world. All our experiences are nothing without the Adhishtanam, I, the Atma. Where is that Atma? It is in me. I am that. That is, you never forget that. I am that pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is the Adhishtanam, is the substratum for our experiences which we have in the world of Dvaitam. Dvaitam is all these experiences: mother, father, boss, world, sukham, dukkham, pain, sorrow, everything is all Dvaitam. But as I told you in the beginning, don't look at it from our body standpoint of view, look at it outside. You are a witness to the whole operation. The entire waking, dream, and sleep is a superimposition on the Atma. Turiya Atma is always there. Don't forget that second Shanti Mantra. What it says, Turiya Atma is the one which is appearing as the waker. It is a real thing. Whereas the waker, dreamer, and sleeper is an appearance. See, when we are studying this itself, you will start getting some idea about this pure consciousness. Okay, so I will stop here with this. Next week, I will tell you about chapter 4. The first chapter reveals Advaitam through the Shruti Pramanam. The second chapter logically reveals the mithyatvam of anatma, mithyatvam of the world of experiences. And the third chapter logically reveals, establishes the reality of Atma. Atma is real. Again and again in 48 verses in the third chapter, Shankaracharya bangs us through logic. See, our intellect will understand clearly why Atma is Satya. Okay, so today's time is up. So I will stop here, and next week I will continue the BASHYAM from this particular slide, which will give you an introduction to chapter 4. And if you have any questions, we will take it up after the meditation. In 10 to 15 minutes, I will finish the meditation session. For those who want to join the meditation, you can join. For those who want to think about it, about what you have studied today, if you have any questions, you can post them in the chat box. Any general questions on Vedantic study also we can put in, any questions. And like I said, that this study is extremely in detail. You know, this study is very, very, very important. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudacchade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, we have a few questions. I will answer them first, and then I'll open up for discussions after we finish the going through the chat box. If we associate memory with the mind, what is it, or how is that we remember the deep sleep state if the mind is transcended at that state? Okay, good question. See, what happens is the mind is transcended, but there is sakshi. This is what Shankaracharya, this is the argument of Shankaracharya, which you find in Brahma Sutra, as well as you find in Mandukya Upanishad. Towards the end, we will come to this. This is the main argument he uses against the Shunyavadins. See, what happens in the sleep state is there is Atma. Atma is revealing to us this resolved condition of the mind. What we are saying is, it is because of Atma we are able to remember this experience of sleep. We recall that experience of sleep in the waking state. It is not in the sleep state. In the waking state, I'm using my mind, and I'm trying to recall what happened in my sleep state. Now, the question is, who remembers what? It is the sakshi which is revealing to us knowledge of the world and absence of the world. And my mind is recalling that experience. This recalling of that experience is only possible because of sakshi. So our focus should be on the consciousness which is revealing to us in the sleep state absence of the mind and it is revealing to us the presence of the mind in the waking state. So memory is always associated with the mind, but without consciousness, there is no memory. During the waking state also, it is the light of consciousness which is being thrown in the mind, and then you can remember. Okay, so Amini Suvedi, I hope I'm clear. See, when the mind is transcended, means what? There is something which is there. See, the problem is we are still identifying with our mind. Mind has got the four functions: the ego function, the memory function, the emotional personality, and the intellectual personality. Mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. All these are what? It is only the mind's changes, which is a modification of the mind. It is just the mind changing itself, and sometimes it is the ego, which says that I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. Sometimes it remembers, oh, this is what happened. These are all impressions in the mind. Sometimes it has got emotions. And sometimes it has got the thinking faculty, discriminative faculty. They're all the functions of the mind. And we remember the memory is only because of Atma, not because of the mind. Mind is passive condition in the sleep state. But there is a sakshi which is the witness of that resolved condition. Okay? Hani Reda and Amini, if you have any questions on this, please speak up now so that I can take this forward. There are some more points here. Does Shankaracharya arguments against Shunya Vaja in this text itself? Yes, plenty of arguments are coming. And this is one of the most important arguments. Shunya Vada says what? There is nothingness in this world. In sleep, there is nothing. Therefore, the waking state is coming from nothingness. This is called as Shunya Vada. What is Shankaracharya saying? Don't negate everything in the world. Negation is mithya. Whatever you have negated is mithya. Rope snake is mithya. You have negated it. But don't forget that adhishtanam rope. Don't forget Atma, which is the adhishtana. This is the very crucial argument of Shankaracharya against the Shunyavada. And then there are many other arguments, which says there are several arguments. If you say that from Shunyam, from nothingness only world comes, then what happens? If Shunyam is the Karanam, then how will your experience be in this world? Everything is non-existent. But is that our experience? No, we experience everything as existent. Therefore, Shunyavada is wrong. Karanam cannot be non-existence, nothingness. Okay. Amini is saying, when we wake up, we know that the dream was illusory. That's correct. This point, how come the waking state is illusionary? This is, you need a little bit of time. Chapter 3 of Mandukya Upanishad is directly answering this question. Okay, so Amini, you need to read chapter 3. Okay, I'll give you a gist. The gist is, dream is anityam. It is drishyam. It is seen. These are the two arguments he uses, Shankaracharya, in the 3rd chapter, to prove that dream and waking are both similar in nature. Waking experience, you can't hold on to it. It is anityam, exactly like the dream world. It is a passing. It is appearance. You see, it is like seeing an image, And then there is a slightly deeper meaning, which I will try to explain, try if you can get it. In dream, it is the mind which is projecting all the images. And there is a light which is behind the mind, which is because of this light of Atma, there is no other light in dream except the light of Atma. That light is giving you the experience of the world of dream. What is happening in the waking state? Just try to understand this aspect very clearly. If you're able to go, if your mind is able to go deeper, even in waking, it is the same light which is there. The light of Atma is there. It's a Swayam Jyoti. It is a self-effulgent Atma light which is there even now, right now in the waking state. But in the waking state, why we find it difficult to accept that it is like a dream? Because the sense organs are giving us the world, the experience of the world. Suppose the sense organs are closed and you are still there, the light is still there, the mind is still there. What are you going to experience? Exactly like the dream. Sense organs are shut. That is what happens in Samadhi state. The sense organs are all shut. The light of Atma is there. Then what happens? The mind also comes down. It resolves. Then you alone are there. So what happens? What is the truth then? The truth is the experience of the waking state depends on the sense organs operation. Sense organs are closed. Experience of the 5 sense objects, form, color, sound, taste, all this is gone. That is what happens in sleep state. Sleep means what? The experiences of the 5 sense objects with the help of 5 sense organs is resolved. When that is resolved, what is there? It is the pure light of Atma, which is the existence principle. Without that existence principle and consciousness principle, there is no world. I hope I am able to make a little bit clarity, bring some clarity here. But through logic, I am giving you the Anubhava part. But there is a lot of reasoning. Shankaracharya in the 3rd chapter comes with beautiful reasons, one after the other, one after the other. Just wait for the 3rd chapter. All your doubts. This particular doubt is a very sincere seeker's doubt. 99% of the seekers, they will not accept that the waking is an appearance like a dream. Only if you go through Mandukya Upanishad, only if you go through the chapter 3, you can accept it. Your intellect will be convinced. Any questions on this?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah. Shekharji, thank you very much. My question, Namaste. Again, on the deep sleep part question, I wanted just to clarify. So in waking state, okay, sakshi is there. Sakshi is present in all the 3 states, and it is the turiya itself. So in the waking state, which aspect of mind is associated with memory? Is it mano or is it chitta? One of these is associated.
It is chitta. In the waking state,
it is chitta. Okay, yes. So chitta is where memories are registered and stored. We can say, right? It's like almost like a memory chip.
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
stored. It is stored there, right? And it is illuminated by sakshi. That is what enables us to know the memories, right? To know the memory. Okay, so this I understand. But now when we come to deep sleep state, sakshi is there, okay, but chitta is dormant, mano is dormant, buddhi is dormant, ahankara is dormant. So the question is, how is that memory stored, registered, like it was in chitta in waking state? if we say it is sakshi, but sakshi was there even in waking state, that's not what is different about deep sleep state and the waking state. It's not sakshi that is different, right? It's the lack of activity of these four functions of mind. So then how can memory be registered if these four are not active? Memory must be registered in some other way.
Okay, I understood your question. What we are telling here is sakshi is not revealing the memory portion in sleep. Sakshi is revealing ignorance, self-ignorance, which is existing in sleep, ignorance about Atma. It is not memory. It has got nothing to do with memory. It is, we all have got a third portion, which is called as the causal body, which is the Karana Shariram.
Karana Shariram.
So the Karana Shariram is what Sakshi is revealing in sleep. That is self-ignorance. That self-ignorance is ignorance about Atma. It has got nothing to do with memory.
Understood. The memory is part of
confusion between the waking state memory and what Sakshi is revealing as ignorance in sleep state.
Okay. Yeah,
that
because
ignorance is called as, in Sanskrit, it is called as Mula Avidya. Mula Avidya is a term, is a technical term. It means I don't know that I am Atma. That is what is called as the sleep state. Technically, the sleep state means it is a revelation of my ignorance. So Sakshi reveals my ignorance about myself.
I understand now. If I may say, what you are saying is in the waking state, it is actually Sukshma Sharira.
Correct.
That is associated with that memory process.
Now you are getting into the right understanding. Perfect.
Yeah.
It is a Sukshma Sharira.
Karana Sharira.
It is Karana Sharira. Exactly. Now you got it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, Amini, you have any questions, because your questions are related to the other question. Any other doubt from you, Amini?
None.
Good. All right. So now we come to Madhava Kari, where he says, can you explain again the gunas mentioned in today's class? Is it different from the one in Bhagavad Gita, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas? No. Okay. What I said today is the same what is explained in the chapter 14 of Bhagavad Gita. I'll give you chapter 14 of Bhagavad Gita in a nutshell. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, they together constitute our mind. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas constitute our mind. Mind is nothing but Maya. Okay. Now, in the 14th chapter, Lord Krishna says, there is something which is beyond Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. And that is Turiya Atma. What is revealed in 14th chapter is exactly the same which is being revealed in Mandukya Upanishad. So the Gunatita portion of chapter 14 of Bhagavad Gita is the 7th mantra of Mandukya Upanishad. Okay, am I clear? Madhavi, are you there in the group now?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Good, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. How are the samskaras carried forward to next life? Good question. Very easy to understand. You see, suppose you take some flowers, jasmine in your hand, and then you keep the jasmine away, and then you smell your hand. The hand will smell of jasmine. The fragrance of jasmine will still be there. What happens is, our mind is an extremely subtle body, subtle in nature. It is like a mirror which can reflect consciousness. That is one of the aspects of our mind. Can you imagine what is how does a mirror look? Mirror is it's a substance which is reflecting my face. So similarly, my mind, the material is subtle body makes. If you have done Tattvabodha, you will remember mind is made up of apanchikaranam. That means before the gross elements were created, the subtle panchabhutas, they created the mind. So there are two aspects of the mind you should know. It can reflect the consciousness, that is one aspect. And therefore, we are able to study the mind, and through the mind, we are able to see what lies beyond the mind. Now, the second aspect of mind is, it is like a film. See, if a normal camera film you put and then you can take pictures, or in your mobile you can take pictures and you can store them. Our mind is very similar to that. It can take all the impressions and then it keeps inside. It doesn't keep all the impressions. Only certain, maybe 2%, 1% of what you experience during the day-to-day world, that is what is stored as samskara in the mind. What is the meaning of samskara? Samskara means it is a tendency of the mind to go in a certain groove in the mind. For example, if you have desires of certain things, that tendency will continue in your next birth. Suppose you are fond of certain things, it will continue. Suppose, see, we explain all the, suppose you have a tendency to play the violin. Very deep tendency you have learned, or you have learned the Shastras before. That impression of the Shastra will remain, and then you will get the urge to study the Shastra one more time. All our dream is nothing but, it is a picture taken by the mind, which you replay. Like you have a cassette player, you have a replay button. You replay or you can take a picture, for example, and you take a video, and then you replay the video in your mobile. So similarly, the mind, you can replay what you have gone through. It is there. Some people have a capacity to replay tremendously, very, very much in detail. They can replay exactly word by word what they have heard. Okay. So am I clear, Raman, about your samskara question?
Yes, sir, but that part, but I will ask in the next class. Okay. So, but how exactly it is transmigrated? That was my question.
Okay, how it is transmigrated is, now this question, how it is transmigrated is given in Chandogya Upanishad, also in Bhagavad Gita. What happens? Utkramantam sthitham vapi bhunjanam gunanvitam. You see, in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it tells us how the jiva in this body, he packs up all the important things which he needs in the next birth. What is the main thing which the jiva will carry forward? According to Shastra, it says that the jiva collects all the indriyams. That means the subtle body which consists of 17 factors, panchapranas, the indriyams, the manaha, those aspects are taken from this one body to another body. The only proof for this is Upanishads or Bhagavad Gita. Upanishads like Vedantic Upanishad will give you a lot of detail. What happens when a jiva leaves this body? How does it travel to another body? Does the body come right at the time when you leave this body, immediately you get a shariram, or you wait for some time? In some of the Upanishads, it says very clearly, the moment the jiva travels, immediately he gets the minutest next body already is available. There is no time lag between the next body and this body leaving. For all this, Shastram is the Pramanam. And when you study the Upanishads, you will come to know it is, you see, for example, you are talking about the death of the body and how samskaras are taken. Very simple example is our sleep state. Waking state, sleep state, dream state. If you try to understand this aspect, these three things carefully, you will understand that I am able to withdraw from this body and go to the dream body. I'm able to withdraw from the dream body, go to the sleep, Karana Shariram. Again, from Karana Shariram, I'm able to come back to the waking body. How does this take place? This is what is called as māyā-shakti of Ishvara. How does this transplantation happen? How the samskaras are carried? Māyā-shakti of Ishvara. Rama, is it clear?
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, I got the direction. Yes, thank you.
Good. Can you unmute me, please? Okay, Hanirada, I think I've done that. You've already on the three sharirams. Okay. Just a very simple understanding of the three shariram. Number one, physical body. That is called as Sthula Shariram. Sthula Shariram. Yeah, Radhe?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you want to explain to me about this, or shall I give you the answer?
Kindly explain, sir.
Yeah, okay. So the three sharirams are, number one is Sthula Shariram, second is Sukshma Shariram, and the third is Karana Shariram.
Yes.
In our waking state, we are with our Sthula Shariram predominantly. In the dream state, we are with the Sukshma Shariram, which is the mind, predominantly. In the sleep state, we are with the Karana Shariram, which is the ignorant state. Just now I was explaining to you about ignorance. So
yes,
that causal state is what is called as the state where I don't know anything in the world. Neither I know the world, neither I know myself. So that is what is called as the three states, which we are going to study these three states and the three bodies in very big detail in Mandukya. Just wait for some time. You will understand the three shariram. If you have any specific questions on the three sharirams, you can ask me now. Otherwise, the details of the three shariram are given in Tattva Bodha. In Tattva Bodha, you have the detail of what is the Karana Shariram, what is the Sukshma Shariram, what is the Sthula Shariram.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, now we come to other people. Raghu, can you go ahead?
Sir, it was a wonderful session. Actually, this turiyam, whatever is defined, it is beyond these three states. That's what the basics of this Upanishad, as you told.
Yeah.
And you also equated that the sleep state and the waking state can be equated, saying that the analogy, if you withdraw the five sense organs, it becomes equated.
That's
so my
correct.
basic question is, when you talk about Atma or the pure consciousness, you already told that as the body leaves, it will take up the next body within few minutes or whatever is there.
That's correct, yes.
So there will be no state where the pure consciousness will be independently there, existing anywhere.
Okay, very good. Yeah, very good question. Raghu, it's like this. See, what Veda teaches us is, as long as we have ignorance about our nature. For example, today I am still thinking I am the body and the mind. Then this question about whether I will ever experience pure consciousness by itself, that question will remain. But the moment, see, why it will remain? Because you have ignorance about Atma. That ignorance is still there. Ignorance plus this body experience, this together is what is this question you're asking, can I experience that consciousness independently? What happens when you study the Upanishads? Suppose you have gone through these 4 chapters of Mandukya Upanishad. What will happen is, during the study itself, you will get the feeling that I am that pure consciousness. You don't have to wait. That ignorance about Atma will go away. When the ignorance goes away, what happens is pure consciousness alone is. The teaching is extremely clear. And this doubt comes only because of ignorance about the clarity about Atma. What Upanishad does is, it goes deep into your intellect, it gives you reasons. When the intellect is exposed to the reasons, then its identification with the body and mind as the self will go away. The experience of body and mind will continue, but the self-identification that I am the body and mind, that will no longer remain, and your intellect will say, I am the turiya Atma. And what is the nature of the turiya Atma, which the Upanishad will explain in the 7th mantra of this Upanishad is, it alone is. What is the meaning of that? Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. World experience is appearance. Seemingly it is there. Nobody says that the world is not there. Shankaracharya never says the world is not there. Shankaracharya says experience of the world is always there. But he is asking the question, is this world seeming or real? That is the question which you have to keep pondering, keep asking yourself. And that question is answered in the 3rd chapter. Convincingly, you see, Shankaracharya will convince you that this is the way you understand the world.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Good. It's a very good question. I'm glad you asked it. But you'll have to give a little bit of time. Atma self is knowledge, not an experience. Yes, Bharat, you're right. It is pure understanding. Just understanding I am the Atma. That's all. And this understanding will drop what? It will drop the notion that I am the body. See, this happens simultaneously. When the notion that I am not the body happens in your own intellect, automatically it will say, I am the Atma. Okay, good. Shanta, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just, a follow-on question on what Raghuji asked. We say that Atma or Brahman, there is no time or space in that,
Yes.
in that kshetra. So when the body is, when the person dies and the Atma of the mana, with all the indriyas and whatever knowledge it has to take to the next birth, is, as you said, it gets within few minutes or seconds, whatever, gets a new body. So when there is no time concept and space concept, why should this mana have this leaving one body and has to have that time-space concept to get to the new Sharira in which body of a mother, or I don't know what it
Correct.
happens to
Yes.
be.
Yes.
So why is that time lag? Because
No, it is only see, the Upanishad gives us the answers to seekers, different types of seekers. Suppose you have gone through the Upanishads and you have understood that you are the Atma, then that question will not rise in your mind and that answer will also not fit for you. So you are a senior seeker. For the senior seeker, this question of next birth, what happens to the body, Sukshma Shariram, how does it leave the body? All those questions is not there for the senior seeker. For a junior seeker, the Upanishad gives all these reasons. It gives you so that you can continue your study till your intellect says, Aham Satyam, I am Satyam. The entire world of experience is Mithya. It is for those people the Upanishad gives answers. Upanishad gives answers to all seekers at different stages in our life.
okay. So now coming to what I wanted to say. First of all, thank you very much for this talk. It was wonderful. I think in your group, I'm the slowest learner.
No. There is
I
don't.
want, the thing is, if you could go a bit slow, because I think what maybe I should do, repeat listening or something, because I try to make notes as you speak so that I can understand what I understand. And I try to sort of, I don't know, that few seconds I need to, in my mind to consolidate what I understood. So that could be the reason why I'm finding, I found the class today a bit more, slightly faster, if it could be,
No,
that is a thing.
Shanta, what I suggest is maybe you can go through the video and then
again,
see
yeah.
which portions is going fast and go slow there.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I
that's
will do
number
that.
one.
Yeah.
You can go through the video and then you can see which portions, or you can make a note that this particular portion I need to go back to the video. Whenever you
Yeah.
are going through the class, you
Yeah.
just write down in a paper about this particular say,
Section or
suppose it
whatever,
is
yeah.
it is, suppose it's say 140 at this time, say 1 hour. After 1 hour in this area I need some clarity, let me go slow and understand.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And the second thing which I want to also explain is, you go back to my notes where you see Shankaracharya's commentaries. The portions wherever I have Shankaracharya. Try to, the best way to go through this study is you take a printout of those notes and get it bound like a book. So that it is easy for you to refer. There are many people in these sessions, they ask me, what do I do? Shall I just keep that mobile and then go through the notes? I tell them no. The best way to study is take a printout. That's what I do even for the classes. Before the classes, I go through the notes, I see if there are any corrections, and then it also gives me what I should be talking today. So take a printout of the notes which I have sent you by WhatsApp. You go to the email, get a printout, go to a binder, get it bound, and keep the book.
Okay. So yeah, that's a good thing. So my question is, when we are in the sleep state, it's again coming to that. Yes, we are in the ignorant or in the turiyam state. Now the mana is gone to sleep, right? And everything is wound down. What is that activity precisely happening that everybody wakes up at a different time? Even if you're in the same country, or even in the same village, or in the same house for that matter, your mana gets activated at different points of the day or on the morning. So Atma is sarvatra, or
It is the
pervading.
same for all people. Atma is the
Same. Yeah.
Why
So
do some people wake up in 5 hours, some people wake up in 8 hours, and some people wake up with an alarm and so on? The answer to your question is, it is karma phalam. Your prarabdha karma will decide when will you wake up and what will you experience the next day. That's all. Suppose you don't put an alarm, then the question is, what decides my waking? For all of us, whether it is an animal, whether it is a bird, whether it is what Shastra says is, karma phalam will decide not only your waking, it also will decide how many years you will stay in this body. It will also decide the time of your birth, time of your death. It will decide all that. Karma. Answer is karma. Karma means what? Punya papam. Your punya papam is going to give you some experiences. You may say that it is a very mundane experience. I go and buy vegetables. I go and buy, these are all activities to keep the body alive. But there is an inner experience which is of punya phalam or papa phalam. It may not come every day. Like, for example, today you will say that, okay, I just had a very simple day today. I didn't have any major papam or punyam fructifying today, but it is not one day. It can happen in 1 month, it can happen in 6 months, it can happen after 5 years. But the body is kept alive. It comes into experiences. Even during this study of Mandukya, you will find these answers coming, but the answers definitely are given in Vichara Sagara. You see, in Vichara Sagara, in chapter, in the 7th chapter of Vichara Sagara, there is one whole chapter which says what happens to the jnani after he has got the jnanam. What does he do? How does he, what governs his yatra of the body? What governs it? The author Nishala Dasa is a great teacher of Advaita. He says there is only one thing which decides his life, and that is karma. The prarabdha karma has given him this body to experience a set of experiences till the body drops. If the prarabdha karma of that person is to go and teach Advaita, he will teach Advaita. If the prarabdha of the body is to sit in samadhi and do nothing and just have diksha, and he will sit in samadhi. So he says in that chapter, Vichara Sagara, he says very clearly, again and again the question is asked. He says, prarabdha karma, prarabdha karma. If your karma is there to live in London and go through the experiences of London in this birth, you will have it.
So so should I be, I don't know, I just feel guilty because when I wake up, it's between around 3:30, in the morning, I push myself. I mean, I get up and I try to do my meditation, and then seeing it's cold, it's dark, I just go back to sleep. Now it makes me feel guilty when I wake up eventually, when I have to, when it is time to get up for work or whatever. But that guilt of sleeping after I've actually woken up, because I feel, I don't know whether everybody feels this, because you get the body seems sort of the heat or some sort of feeling you get in your body which wakes you up, right?
Yeah.
So that waking happens. So when that waking happens, actually I'm fully awake,
Correct,
but I still go to sleep after I do my meditation because it's dark and it's what am I going to do getting up in the morning?
Yeah, it's very natural. It's very natural. See, you don't have to feel guilty about this. You see, one thing is, it's a very natural for us to criticize our mind. Very natural. Whenever we experience certain conditions, circumstances around us, we keep on criticizing our mind. What Shankaracharya says in the commentary in Amrit Bandhu Upanishad is, very clearly says, never criticize the mind because you are the mind is your best friend. Don't criticize it. Today it acted a little bit funny. It did meditation, went back to sleep. But it is your friend only all the time. Remember, mind is your friend all along. You have to live with your mind all along till the end. You cannot.
He's not
Yeah.
pushing you towards tamas, because
No,
then you
no,
can
no,
blame
no.
everything on
No, no,
mind
no.
and then go continue sleeping.
No. You see, no. What? See, okay. I'm just telling you from practical point of view. The best way to say is today the mind felt like meditating. It meditated. It went to sleep. It went to sleep. I accept both the conditions. I am Atma. I have no control over this mind. I accept the mind as it gives me the experiences in life. Go with that attitude towards your conditions. Whatever be the conditions of the mind which it throws upon you, sometimes good experiences, sometimes, like this type of experiences which you say, go through it, doesn't matter. All of us, don't forget, you're not the only one with this experience. I'm telling you, there are 90% of the people who are listening to you all have the similar experiences. All have the same type of experiences. They try to live with the mind. And ultimately, what is it? When you do this Mandukya Upanishad, it will teach you very beautifully that the best way to treat your mind is that it is a false entity. It is māyā-shakti, which is there in this body. That is the ultimate lesson. Till that lesson comes to you, live with the mind, and you will be able to cross over the mind and remain free. You see, this what you are expressing is what is the typical condition of bandha. And it is this type of mind which is what a seeker says, I want moksha from such a mind. Perfect candidate, adhikari for moksha prayatna.
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect.
But no, because the reason I feel guilty is only because I feel I can give that as an excuse and then get into my tamas world, and then when am I going to become more? I mean, I get the Jivan Bhakti if I start looking at when will I start learning and getting? Yeah, so
the more
I don't
I
want to go on
listen
giving
to you,
excuses.
the more I listen to you, Shanta, you are the best candidate for this Mandukya experience. You go through this experience of Mandukya, at the end of probably 1 year or 2 years, you will tell me I'm changed person. I give you guarantee.
Thank you. I look forward for it. Thank you.
Can I just talk, Venkatesh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, because this Mandukya, since we had done some 7-8 years before, and I remember that we used to have so many questions. I could see that such a wonderful session what we had today, and the questions and all so extraordinary actually. So everybody has to go this scenario. But fortunately, that time, since we have done after Bhagavad Gita, so certain questions got resolved. But after going through Mandukya Upanishad, like what you are saying, I can also assure that all these questions, they get resolved by itself. This is one Upanishad which I see that is so scientific. The whole analysis has been done in a very orderly manner actually, and which is very easy to understand, but this requires both yukti and anubhava, that these are the two factors which has been taken into consideration actually. The law, see, at the end of the day, what I see this particular Upanishad is, they proves that ekam eva advitiyam. There is nothing, advitiyam is, conscious is not only advitiyam, not only exists, but it alone exists actually. Nothing else is existing. That is word that ekam eva advitiyam, it means actually. Just to to get some of the things, like the first two questions, which was related to the sleep and those two things, I just want to highlight, like this particular scenario, we also used to have, we had so many times this discussion, but some of these things also gets clarified if some people go through Panchadasi, once again, Tattva Viveka Prakaranam and Mahabhuta Prakaranam. The first one, with regard to that particular sleep state, I just want to say that the experience of an individual, it makes a big difference. As a waker is different, sleeper is different, and dreamer is different. But about the sleep, we are remembering in the waking state. So the memory what we are having at a different state, and the anubhava is at a different state. So in the mind is not there in the sleep state, but the memory of that particular experience of sleep you are having in the waking state. So this is possible only there is some common thing is existing in these two states. So this is what is done in the Tattva Viveka Prakarana, where every two states has been compared, and that is how it has been established that only the Sat is there, which is there in all the three states. So that is with, it is very, very simple actually. We just have to do a logical analysis, it's very scientific. Like see how we do the science experiment and all. First it will have lot of experiments and all, then we establish hypothesis, then only it becomes a law. So this particular Upanishad, I feel like when we had just gone through, we used to have so many questions, we used to ask so many silly questions to Shekharji and all, but after going through that 12 mantras, we've gone through the full analysis and all, lot of things got clarified. But subsequently going through a lot of these prakaranas, Panchadashi and all, few other things also it gets clarified. So this is one particular thing. And second is regarding the waking state, why this world is appearing this thing and all, because every time we take that reference with reference to our body. But technically what we have to consider is like what Shekharji has told first, actually we have to consider that this body mind is also is a part of this Jagat only. This is also a part of Bhutas. And according to the Tattva Bodha and all, it is very clear that this does not, like Akasa, if you see, it does not exist in the sleep state. So, which makes it very clear that this whole thing is mithya. So, like this particular, I just want to tell that if anybody has any specific issue in the life and all, they should go through some of these 12 mantras. Just chant these mantras, go through these mantras, you get some sort of, it has some energy levels, I will say actually. It will give some intuitive power to your intelligence and all, and you will come across a certain resolution. And the BASHYAM of Shankaracharya, which we are going through, is amazing actually. It's like extraordinary. So we need to have the patience from whatever be the period and all, so that gets so many issues gets resolved. I just thought I need to just share based on what we experienced. We had been going through so many Upanishads with Shekharji and all for the last 10 years and whatever the period. So these things make a big difference. So that every Upanishad has used a certain philosophies. Here the philosophy what they have used is the Anubhava, experience, and Sutra, the Prakarana. Just seeing the Sutra, you just analyze yourself actually. When you analyze yourself, you find that what you are existing in one state, you are remembering that in another state actually. That is possible only when there is some common thing is there. And that is what is that Sat. That is what is that consciousness. And that's the thing what we have to. So Adi Shankaracharya, this philosophy, what I understand from here is Ekam Eva Advitiyam. Advitiyam is not only one thing, it is the only thing. That's what he is going to prove. The whole Dukkham is because of the what you call superimposition. The Adhyasa, the way it has been explained in this Mandukya Upanishad is amazing actually. All other Upanishads are great actually, but this Mandukya Upanishad I find always amazing. First time when I heard this Upanishad, I thought, oh my God, what an Upanishad again. In 12 mantras, simple experience of your own, he could able to reveal such a wonderful secret of this entire universe and the cosmic world, which is amazing.
Thank you.
So I
Thank
just
you
Thank you,
very
Venkatesh.
much, Venkatesh sir.
Thank you. I think you
Thank you very
expressed
much.
what Shanta needs today, you know?
Yes, and I think I mean, it's like a proof that yes, I will reach there when I finish learning this, and you know, you are a sakshi of that, shall I say?
Definitely.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank you.
Shanta. Thank you, Venkatesh.
Yeah.
Thank you. Radhi, did you have any other point? I think you were raising your hand. Anything left out from your side?
No, sir,
Radha
nothing.
Krishna?
Nothing.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So we'll stop here and we'll continue our study next week. And so we'll see how Shankaracharya builds up this entire tempo for the study and how he goes deeper and deeper. You see, we are just at the crest level, but we are going to go very deep. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.